Good morning, it's still morning, and welcome to the George Sirian Meritorious Service 16th Award Ceremony on board the USS Constitution, as sponsored by the Surface Navy Association, USS Constitution Chapter. First, I would like to recognize the following in attendance: Rear Admiral Jesse Wilson, Commandant of Served Land; Captain William Erickson, USN, Executive Director of SNA, and two members from headquarters, Debbie Gary and Captain Tackett. Also like to recognize Mick Pond, the Master Chief of the U.S. Navy, Russell Smith, who's joined us today. The Surface Force Master Chief, Goodrich, I believe Osborne hasn't made it as another requirement. Captain Tom Forbes, who is a member of the Sirian family tree and represents them on board us today. And Captain Bill Mazur, he'll be talking later, is the president of the Constitution Chapter. Our awardee, GMC, Surface Warfare, Expeditionary Warfare, Blake R. Wool, USN, and his wife, Chief Hospital Corpsman Christine, and the children Madison and Jackson, plus their guests. Welcome. Former USS Constitution commanding officers, USS Constitution officers and ships company, and the 2018 Chief Petty Officer selectees, and any other distinguished civilian and military guests that I might have missed. The USS Constitution Chapter invites you and welcomes you to the 16th annual award ceremony that we've done for the GSA. Many of you have experienced this information previously, but I'm going to repeat it today so that the people will understand who are the selectees, what the background of this all is. Our chapter's mission is to maintain and promote the values of the Surface Navy's tradition, history, contributions, and accomplishment, but we focus on the USS Constitution as the centerpiece of our efforts. The GSA program itself started over 18 years ago when we partnered with the Constitution, SNA headquarters, and Surf 4 and Surf Land to establish a Surface Navy annual award for an E7 Chief Petty Officer based upon the qualities of leadership, technical expertise, and devotion to duty that was personified by George Sirian, a famous 1800s crew member of the USS Constitution. George Sirian was a sailor's sailor. He served nearly a half-century in the Surface Navy, including multiple tours, I believe 3 aboard the USS Constitution itself. And he advanced himself from ordinary seaman to master gunner and ultimately to warrant officer status. George Sirian was an exceptional man, one highly regarded by his superiors and his subordinates alike, and it was based upon his consistent and outstanding performance and his many years of service to his country and his Navy. Today we recognize these qualities as a continuation of George Sirian's spirit of excellence, which are very much alive in today's Surface Navy E7 Chief Petty Officers. The 2018 George Sirian Meritorious Service Awardee, as I mentioned before, is GMC, Surface Warfare, Expeditionary Warfare, Blake Wool, USN. Bit about Chief Wool. Today, Chief Wool best exemplifies George Sirian's historic spirit of leadership, technical expertise, and devotion to duty. He is a native of Burien, Washington, enlisted in the Navy in 2000 and selected for Chief Petty Officer in 2011. He served multiple assignments afloat and ashore, including serving aboard the USS Thorn, DD-988, Naval Station Rota Maritime Expeditionary Squadron 5, Naval Munitions Command Detachment Point Loma, USS Sampson DDG-102, and currently aboard the USS Dewey DDG-105 as CG Division Leading CPO. Chief Wool's awards and decorations include Surface Warfare Specialist, Expeditionary Warfare Specialist, 2 Navy Commendation Awards, 4 Navy Achievement Awards, and various other unit campaign and service medals. Throughout his 18-year career, he has consistently demonstrated excellence as witnessed by what his superiors and subordinates and peers alike have had to say about him. He's truly a role model and a mentor for all Surface Navy Force chief selectees who will soon earn their coveted anchor collar devices. I will quote from Commander Destroyer Squadron 1 and also from Chief Wool's commanding officer. Quote, GMC Wool is an engaged, dedicated leader who clearly stands out amongst a destroyer squadron of over 100 highly competitive CPOs. He sets the standard by which operation excellence is measured. His commitment to minimum accomplishments throughout an arduous 7th Fleet deployment was simply astonishing. His using of technical expertise for 10 live fire exercises, 5 Pacific Presence operation transits, and freedom of navigation operations were flawless. Additionally, he spearheaded the planning and mission accomplishment of emergency offload of USS Fitzgerald in less than 24 hours. Despite severe damage, flooded spaces, and minimal electrical power support, he flawlessly led 65 sailors in offloading 698 tons of ordnance. Significant accomplishment. Chief Wool is a dynamic leader and consistent daily example of deck plate leadership. He exemplifies the core values of the Navy through proven leadership performance and operational excellence. Chief Wool demonstrates outstanding performance in the George Sirian Award criteria and exemplifies the dedication and fortitude George Sirian showed during his service in the United States Navy. End of quote. I would like to introduce Captain Bill Mauser at this point as President of the USS Constitution Chapter SNA for the George Sirian GSA Award presentation. Captain Mauser.
Good afternoon, everybody. As you may understand, we in the SNA chapter, the Constitution chapter of the SNA, are extremely proud of this award that we helped give birth to 17, 18 years ago. And particularly, the way it has been accepted and embraced by the CPO community, you'd have to say worldwide, because candidates have come from worldwide duty stations. So this is the culmination after the week of heritage training, where it is most fitting that we're able to present this award upon this glorious national treasure, this wonderful warship. And we thank Admiral Wilson for being here with us to sort of headline the event and to add gravitas, shall we say, to the proceeding. Now, I'd like to ask Gunner's Mate Chief Blake Wool, front and center, as this year's 2018 right here, John. Right here. Very good. Now the award consists of two principal items. First, the engraved cutlass, engraved in his name. That's a 19th century cutlass that you can wear with the uniform, along with a certificate, which we will present later. Also, on board the ship, there's a plaque that lists all the George Sirian Award winners. This being the 16th, I think Captain Kennedy said. So this is a very big deal for us, and we're very happy that you're here, and thank you so much for your service. I'd like now to introduce Rear Admiral Jesse Wilson, who is Commander, Naval Surface Forces Atlantic, for a few remarks.
Thank you, Captain Mauser. Well, the first thing that I have to say is just wow. I think the majority of the people on deck here, and this is one of the few places where gun decking is a good thing. This is your first time underway on this magnificent ship, the oldest ship in our Navy, old Ironsides. And in this beautiful weather that we have dialed up for Boston, it doesn't get any better than this. So we're all blessed to be out here first and foremost. Before I start talking about GMC Wall, I want to introduce two people and give them the proper respect. Their names have been mentioned, but I want to kind of kick the podium a little bit and bring their presence to your attention. And the first is the great-great-grandson of George Sirian, who this award is named after, Captain Retired Tom Forbes. Sir, right here. Come on up.
You got it?
No, you bet. I'm going to talk a little bit later on about the heritage of George Sirian, but I'm not going to talk at length. But this man would not be standing here, and we would not be giving this award if it wasn't for George Sirian's mother. And so thank you for honoring us with your presence, sir. And he lives in Virginia Beach, and I look forward to seeing you back there when I get back to headquarters. You bet. Thanks for dialing up the flyover as well. This person's name has been mentioned already today, and some of you may not have had the opportunity to meet him, but 2 days ago, the CNO announced the new Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, and he's on board this ship right now. And so, Big Pond, come on up. The new Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Big Pond Smith. You bet. Now, so this is a big deal, and I'm sure that many MCPONs, within 2 days of taking, office, have not been underway on the Constitution. So I know this is special for you, and thank you for being here. He just kind of pinned these on today, and so this is an honor to have you on board. Thank you much, and I look forward to working with you and the leadership that you have here in the mess. Thank you. So when you talk to people and you say, who was George Sirian? Many people have no clue who George Sirian was. And so they have no clue of the magnitude of what this award means. So George Sirian was a young lad, 6 years of age, from Greece. And almost analogous to the story of Moses, his mother, when the Ottoman Turks were massacring the people during the Greek Revolution, his mother took 6-year-old George and took him down to the shore and put him on a ship. And the ship cast it out to sea so she could save her 6-year-old son. 6-year-old George Sirian then watched his mother killed ashore. his mother gave her life and sacrificed for her son George. George later on was placed on this very ship in which you sail on today, the USS Constitution, which was sailing in the Mediterranean monitoring this Greek revolution, but ordered not to get involved. They took compassion on young George and brought him aboard the ship. I'll wait for a little flyover. At that point in time, young George Sirian had no family. His mother had just sacrificed her life for his. And when you read the history, there's no mention of George's father. So I don't know if he knew his father. Now, I was fortunate enough to know my father. My father's still alive, and my father's a retired Master Chief Petty Officer in the Navy. And that's why it's a special honor for me to be here. And I dare say that because of the USS Constitution taking in someone who wasn't one of their own and leading them and training them and bringing them up is what has blessed this ship to this very day with the grace that it's had. 33-0, undefeated. And so for the Chief Selects and the Chiefs, we're embarked upon a new great power competition. And a great power competition can only be won by a great team. So look around. Look around. This is what your team looks like. This is what a great team looks like. This is what the Chiefs that'll go out and lead this great team looks like in all of the Chiefs messes that we have throughout the Navy. And as was previously stated, you're coming from all over the globe. So this is not a land fleet thing. There's one fight and there's one Navy, and we're all in it. And so the sacrifice and service of George Sirian, at the age of 6, when he became legal age, he enlisted into the Navy and was stationed on board this very ship. And he's the only person to do 3 tours on board this ship at 3 different times. And he served from age 6 to age 62. The second longest serving person in our Navy. And he didn't know maybe even who his father was, and he lost his mother, and he saw his mother being killed. But the Navy took him in and developed him and trained him to somebody who became the expert at his craft, master gunnery. That's what leadership does. That's what our Navy does. You new chiefs, that's what you will do. Change somebody's life, and then that person who you change will then go on with that level of knowledge and that mastery to change our Navy and change the world. And so it's fitting and proper that GMC Wall receive this award for your sacrifice, your expertise, and your dedication. Proud of your shipmate. Congratulations, and all the best to your family. His wife's an HMC, so it's a family thing. It's a family business, and congratulations, and I know you're proud as well. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day out here on the Constitution. Well done.
We'd like to now introduce GMC Blake Wool as the 2018 George Sirian Meritorious Service Award winner.
there's a lot of people to thank today. Admiral, thank you. Congratulations, Mick Pond. Captain Schick, where are you at? CEO of the ship. Thank you very much, sir. Captain Bill Mauser. Tom, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. It's an amazing honor and privilege. Chief Selects, let's start with you. Really, this week is about you. You learning how to be the chief, to be the standard. I gave you guys some charges. Your job is now to execute the mission and be the leadership standard that you have to be. Your sailors, your junior officers, your department heads, XOs, commanding officers, the entire Navy looks to you for the standard. The standard every day when you walk into the office, when you walk across the crowd, when you're standing out front, in front of your divisions and departments, to be engaged and positive. We need positive leadership. And it starts with you. What kind of chief are you going to be? When you sit down with the chiefs giving you charges, when you learn from them and gather their wisdom and knowledge, what are you bringing to the mess? I believe all of you have probably heard that from your various messes across the globe. What are you bringing? We need positive leadership. And I think you guys can bring it. To the chiefs, I'm honored to be a part of your mess. I've met most of you in the last week, and it's been great. It's been a great experience to be aboard this ship, to spend time getting to know each and every one of you. I think these guys are ready to come in and stand shoulder to shoulder with us. We'll find out in 2 weeks from today if they are. I think we'll be a great power moving forward. That's all I have. Thanks.
Nice words. Thank you very much, and Admiral, thank you for taking the time to come here and to give us your wisdom. These are the closing remarks which we're all waiting for. The launch of this GSA program has been an ambitious understanding, and I think you can gather that from some of the background we've given you. The award ceremony is a result of a concerted and cooperative effort by a number of dedicated groups and organizations to whom we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude for their solid commitment, their timely support, most importantly their funding and continuous active participation. So I'll recognize a few of them here before closing. First, to the Force Master Chiefs, James Osborne, who was not able to be here today, and Kevin Goodrich. Their continual support in this program is extremely important. The USS Constitution CO number 75, Commander Nathaniel Schick, and his XO, John Benda. We certainly appreciate the extra effort you've done. And also the Command Master Chief, Jeremy Kingston. It's an important part of our program, and he provides a Vice Admiral McCullough is the president of SNA, and Captain Bill Erickson, who is willing with us today. The executive director and Captain David Adler, who does SNA Awards Committee, and Debbie Gary, who does our admins. We appreciate all their efforts. In addition, our thanks to the USS Constitution Chapter SNA board members, many of which you have met here today. I'm very proud to be part of such a dedicated, committed, resourceful, and dynamic group, and it helped make this special Navy Day happen. Finally, I'd like to thank you, our audience, all of you, for sharing this special Navy Day with us, especially you Chief Petty Officer selectees, to whom all of us wish continued success in your naval careers. In closing, this year's ceremony bears unusual significance in that it is our 16th award, taking place on the world's oldest commissioned warship afloat. And George Sirian himself was a master gunner, and this year's awardee is a GMC. John Paul Jones, a U.S. Navy leader during the War of 1812, earlier concluded that men mean more than guns in the rating of a ship. And this statement further reinforces the value of the GSA award presentation today. This concludes our 16th annual GSA Awards ceremony, and we thank you all for your attention. Thank you very much.